We all watched in horror as George Floyd was tragically killed at the hands of an unchecked police officer. We watched as a nation answered with social protests, marches, and groundswell movements like Black Lives Matter. We listened as police departments across the U.S. were called upon to accelerate reforms. We listened as our own residents asked, what is Ferndale's police department doing to ensure that the same thing does not happen here? Previous city council members asked ourselves the same questions. As a result, our police department began making deep reforms, not in response to these recent events, but over the last 4 years. In 2016, the police department adopted President Obama's 21st century community policing principles, which reframed the idea of modern policing. City Council even hired a public safety expert services firm to evaluate our internal policies and practices. When a police department adopts these principles, it means the department operates with a different culture and philosophy. It's about policing becoming a part of the community, building relationships and trust, and engaging in problem solving compared to traditional policing. This new approach our department adopted focuses on values-based actions, fair and equitable policing, new technologies, and opening two-way communications with less of an emphasis on rules-based procedures. While there remains fertile ground to continue the critical conversations about law enforcement reform, our police department is making tremendous progress. We were one of the first departments in Oakland County to invest in body cams. We've increased training by more than 3 times, including anti-bias policing, de-escalation, crisis intervention, ethics, and the highly regarded U of M Dearborn Alternatives to Violence Force program. We were also the first community in Oakland County to join and offer the Hope Not Handcuffs program, a no questions asked recovery program for people dealing with addiction. We also created a dedicated community engagement officer position, now held by Jill Mulmeister, to collaborate with local and regional organizations and work directly with our residents and businesses. These are just a few examples of the innovation and forward progress our police department has made in recent years, and they're not stopping there. Soon, our police department is expected to close a rigorous year-long accreditation process by becoming one of just 24 law enforcement agencies in the state of Michigan to receive a prestigious accreditation by the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. Accreditation signals that the Ferndale Police Department is accountable on 108 professional standards and has the appropriate policies and practices in place to ensure continued excellence in all areas. It's because of these examples that I am confident that the Ferndale Police Department is making necessary changes for the good of all of our citizens. However, the social unrest the last few months have forced us to confront long existing inequities for our Black communities. The Metro Detroit region is one of the most segregated in the nation, and our suburbs were formed on policies and laws that perpetuated racial segregation, from restricting access to housing, education, employment, and a fair criminal justice system. The City of Ferndale acknowledges these dynamics, and we seek to continue to change and repair its effects. Your new City Council adopted a declaration of commitment to anti-racism that will guide our work going forward. And while City Council and our city administration will continue having important conversations about race, equity, and policing in partnership with our community, I want to affirm that our police department is providing professional policing services to all of our residents and businesses. Our police officers love their jobs, they love their profession, and they are dedicated to public service. Because of the dedication of our police and fire department, it's important we recognize our pandemic frontline workers. I am proud of the work our police department has put in to better serve and protect you. And I'm extremely grateful to our police officers as well as to our firefighters and paramedic EMTs who have gone the extra mile and served so admirably during the COVID-19 pandemic despite the personal risk. Thank you to our frontline emergency workers who answered hundreds of calls for service by residents in need of medical aid. Thank you to Fire Chief Pesha, who served as a regional leader with the Oakland County Emergency Operations Center. not only helping Ferndale, but other cities in South Oakland County as well, to get the supplies and support they needed to do their job safely. And thank you to Chief Palazzolo, Captain Emmy, and our entire police department for stepping up patrols in our downtown to increase watch on our shuttered businesses, and for their continued safety services throughout the pandemic. The dedication, professionalism, and leadership of our police and fire departments has really shown through. And together, we as a community, we will continue the critical conversations around the criminal justice system and the reforms, community policing, and racial equity in Ferndale.